What's going on, everybody? This is DJ, aka Five Guitars Guy. Welcome back. So for this week, we're going to be doing the popular song progress series, which this time around is I Love Rock and Roll. And also, before we get into it, fun little change I just made. 2 ring lights. It'll make lighting a whole lot better. Although I just have to make sure I don't stare directly at them too long or I'll go blind. But anyway, let's get started. First up, as usual, the rhythm section. Rhythm section, pretty much handled. Just gotta make sure I keep up with the tempo. Particularly it's only in one spot though. In the last week or so while I was practicing, I noticed I kind of slowed down during that last bit in the measure. I kind of slowed down right as coming from here. We're coming from the A to the G for that bend. So it took me a second to come back to the beginning. But I think that was just from not touching it for a while during my holiday vacation. But I've pretty much got that back. So going from the beginning, it's So yeah, rhythm section pretty much handled, mostly because it's that all the way through. Like I said, the only difference I've seen so far is when you have to go, and that's about it. So yeah, rhythm section, done. Now on to the lead section. Lead section is maybe a step or two behind the rhythm section as far as my completion of it, only because there's those little parts you have to throw in. Like in the rhythm section, whereas I just have to go in the lead section, I gotta go So yeah, that little bend, took a little extra time for me to catch. I wouldn't say I have it perfect yet because right now I'd say I've got about an 8 out of 10 hit ratio on it. So most of the time while I'm playing at full speed, it bends no problem. But then sometimes it just feels kind of off because I guess my finger slipped or something. I know that's good. I only missed 2 out of every 10, but it's like, those 2 are the ones that bug me. So I keep pressing on that, but for the most part, I've got it good. So I think it's pretty spread out when I mess that one up to the point where I can hear it. Now we got to get onto the part that's still giving me a tiny, tiny bit of trouble. So for those of you who saw the previous videos, and I'm pretty sure you already know where I'm going with this as far as that last little bit. So pretty much just a recap for those of you who don't know. The very last bit, which I'm sure you've all heard if you actually heard the song, still working on. When I first started out, I was using index finger and pinky. So I'd use the pinky to bend, and then index finger for the pull off. But I was having some trouble with it, so I decided to switch over to index finger and ring finger. So I can, since the frets are close enough, I can bridge the gap a whole lot easier than if it was up here. And it's a little, I feel a little stronger on the bends with this finger. Tonally, I'm still trying to figure out exactly where it sounds off. Like, I can't tell if I'm bending too far or not enough. So we'll work on that. But for me, the main thing is making sure I also play in time, because having to go from here to here still has me screwing up a little bit. So I can pretty much get there, but then I fumble like right at the very last minute. So I just gotta make sure I put them together. And then, I wonder, yeah, coming back to the beginning. Yeah, that one's easy enough. So, yeah, just those little things I gotta work on. Not rushing forward to the point where I overshoot it over here, where I'm supposed to be on the 12th and 15th frets. With the bend, making sure I don't bend too little and don't bend too much. Don't bend too much because that just sounds weird. So, yeah, it's just a matter of practice. And then making sure I can pull it all together to where I don't fumble all the time. And then, yeah, that's about it. Again, the only other difference as far as how that goes in the song is just that little bit right here. And that one's easy enough for me to figure out. So that pretty much takes care of the lead section as well. Just a matter of fine-tuning those little points, and since I'm pretty much going at full speed, it shouldn't take too much longer. So I can leave that one. I can pretty much leave that one on the same track I'm on right now. So next we'll go to this part should be part of these, but I'm making it its own section because I'm learning. So yeah, break it into parts and I'll be fine. Next up is the solo section. Solo's giving me a little bit more trouble to the point where, just like in Runaround, I gotta switch one whole section down to 60% versus 100. Luckily, though, it's just this section, so it's smaller than the others I have to deal with. So right now I'm breaking it up into chunks. Right now you're going to see just the first part. So for the first part, playing it real slow, it sounds like this. Even that last chord sounds kind of rough. So then that's pretty much what's holding me up at this point. So honestly, the first few notes, they're just single notes, easy enough. And palm muting, pretty simple when it's just the one. That part's easy enough. The only thing that really gave me trouble in that was I'm so used to playing like in the chorus section of something where I have to constantly play. So that little pause in between the first and second note, that gave me some trouble. Just that I got to get used to not trying to rush right into what I'm doing if I'm supposed to give it a second to be quiet. When I first started, I kept playing, and it sounded weird. So I was like, oh, that's right, I have to give it a second to breathe. Let the silence speak as well. As philosophical as that sounds. And then it comes back to my arch nemesis, chord changes. Which is ironic enough considering I'm doing better with rhythm stuff. So chord changes should be more than my wheelhouse, but I guess it's suddenly having to come down instead of going side to side like I usually do. I just got to make sure I get my fingers in position quickly enough, but not so quick again that I jump past like I did with this section in the lead. But right now, this is pretty much what it sounds like when I try to play up to speed. So yeah, it's going to take a little bit of work, just making sure I solidify things there. So for my plan, I suppose, is to practice that specific chord by itself over and over and over and over until my fingers remember where it is by itself. And then, I guess to build up, try to go from that last note to the chord itself. Slowly at first, but then build it up until it's in line with the others. So yeah, that's pretty much where that one needs to go. And then I can proceed with the rest of the solo. So, but yeah, that pretty much wraps up where I am now on I Love Rock and Roll. As much trouble as the solo has given me, that's par for the course. I've had trouble with all this stuff before, and I've moved along. So I'm still thinking this one is going to be probably the first or second one that I end up wrapping up to the point where I just play the cover, and then I'm on to the next thing. But, till next time, it's DJ, aka 5 Guitars Guy. See ya.